Time to meet our semi-finalists. Ladies and gentlemen, from the Isle of Wight, England, the winner of a PDC ranking event, the former World Youth Champion, the Needle, Keegan Brown. And gentlemen, from England, the winner of 2 PDC ranking events, he is the former champion of the world, the Bullet, Stephen Bunting!
About the bird, the bird's a winner, well a bird is a winner, well a bird, well a bird is a winner, well a bird, the bird's a winner, well a bird, well a bird is a winner, well a bird, the bird's a winner, well a bird, the bird's a winner, well a bird, well a bird is a winner, well a bird, the bird's a winner, well don't you know about the bird? Well, everybody knows that the bird is a winner, well a bird, the bird's a winner, well a
Well, ladies and gentlemen, the first to 7, our semi-final. Our referee in charge is the incredible Russ Bray!
We welcome Russ Bray back onto the stage for the opening semi-final here at the Czech Darts Open. Another mini hiatus here in Prague, as there were some genuine concerns about Mervyn King after he came off the stage. He seemed to faint at one point, but that is just testament to how hot these conditions are. We have seen Mervyn being treated by the first aid people. He is up on his feet and about and fine, it would seem. Good luck to Merv. He's been a superb competitor in this tournament, but he goes no further than the quarter-finals, because the last 4 men standing, Keegan Brown, Stephen Bunting, Jamie Hughes and Simon Whitlock. Only one of them, Whitlock, seeded. Only one of them, Whitlock, has won a European tour before. And indeed, only one of them, again Simon Whitlock, has made the final of a European tour event before. We're going to get a new finalist on this Euro circuit right now as the Bullet takes on the Needle. It is a former world champion and a former world youth champion. Chris Murphy is in the commentary box with me, Dan Dawson, for the opening semi-final here in Prague.
Yes, it might not be the semi-final lineup many would have expected to see here in the first ever Czech Darts Open, but it's certainly a very interesting one. Plenty to play for, other than the title too, particularly for Jamie Hughes, who could still qualify for the World Match Play with a win.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. First leg, Keegan at front first. Game on!
Well, in terms of quality, in terms of consistency, Keegan Brown has been better than Stephen Bunting this weekend. However, the Bullet has been incredibly adept at just stepping up in big moments in games. The last 3 rounds, he's averaged less than his opponent, but still managed to come away with the victory.
100.
Seeing off Daryl Gurney, Chris Dobie, Peter Wright. They're 2 of the top seeds in Gurney and Wright. Now you see for the event, Keegan Brown averaging 5 points more than Stephen Bunting.
We did see
26.
Stephen Bunting reach the final on the floor recently, but whoever wins this match will play in their first stage final for the first time since 2014. Big moment for both these men. That was the World Youth Championship for Keegan, which you mentioned, for Stephen Bunting, the Sydney Darts Masters, which he lost to Phil de Power Taylor.
Well, it is very, very difficult to pick who's going to make the final, let alone go on and win it. You would say, in terms of form, Jamie Hughes and Keegan Brown have been playing better, but Simon Whitlock and Stephen Bunting have experience on their side in PDC tournaments, particularly in these European Tour events.
Of course,
Keegan require 164.
Glenn Durrant has had a bit of a nightmare weekend. He started the tournament with 110 average. He then looked to be cruising against Gerwyn Price, but the fact is that one of these 4 is going to win the tournament and knock him out of the last provisional Grand Slam of Darts spot as well.
41. Keegan require 105.
Double 16. Keegan Brown gets it done in the opening leg with 105 checkouts.
Now, it's been the checking out that has been the thing for Keegan Brown this weekend, hasn't it? Superb on the doubling.
Yeah, Bunting has made very quick starts to his last couple of games against Dobie and Darryl Gurney. In the end, the games have got quite close, but he's benefited from getting out of the blocks quickly. That hasn't happened in this opening leg.
This Hey Ho Let's Go song for Keegan Brown. This is the first place I've ever heard it take up with the crowd. Keegan B, the Prince of Prague.
Well, I think it's a really good walk-on. I think it's catchy.
You can.
You're right, it hasn't really caught on with it. It's just taken these absolute nut jobs in Prague to get involved. I mean, they've been singing everything this weekend.
They weren't singing much from Irving King in the last match, were they? But Simon Whitlock seems to be a particular favourite here. In fact, we could see a meeting in the final. I'll just see if Stephen Bunting goes for the ball. We're not going to find out. Yeah, we could see a meeting in the final if it is to be Brown against Whitlock. It would have a kind of master and apprentice feel to it, because Brown did kind of mentor. Sorry, Whitlock did kind of mentor Brown 5 or 6 years ago.
Vital from Stephen Bunting to level up. 15 data. Yeah, you're right, that would be a fascinating concept. Well, I'm not sure what Keegan saw there.
Or heard. Didn't really put him off. The dart did bounce out of the treble 20.
I'm not sure this crowd has an allegiance. I think they just see a name and sing it for a bit, and then see some other name and sing that, or hear a song and sing along with that. At the time of their lives.
Sure who they were supporting. Jerry Hendricks, was he here?
I mean, potentially. I've not seen a lot of Jerry Hendricks darts merch doing the rounds, but maybe.
I do. Out of the 4 players that are left, there is perhaps one that you could easily dress up as, and the others will be rather more difficult.
Yeah. Although Ricky Evans was dressed up as Stephen Bunting on social media this weekend. Made it quite a convincing Bunting, actually. More convincing than Bunting's impression of Ricky Evans.
But it's not convincing from Bunting yet in this match. As you said, having made strong starts could be a worrying sign.
Well, there was a question today about the guys having to play more than one game and what it would be like under these conditions. Stephen Bunting, Jamie Hughes, Keegan Brown, they managed to cope with it with their second game, but now you're playing 2, potentially 3 games in the same session with very little recovery time. Keegan not going to take the 1-5-3. Bunting has a chance to break.
Yep, if he finds one treble, he'll get a dart a double. He's found one. And it is double top. And it is a break of throw for Bunting.
Well, Stephen Bunting, a guy who was dominant in the BDO circuit and won a title as soon as he moved over to the PDC. He's had to come to terms with not being the top dog or the big fish in his particular pool. And it's been like that for a while. There were times when Stephen Bunting was struggling to win games in his local pub. That's what actually drove him to go and work with a sports psychologist to try and find something to change. But it has worked, and he started threatening to win titles. It isn't dominant, but he is dangerous.
We've got stories with all 4 semi-finalists here of players who've had to pull themselves back from respective positions all different. Simon Whitlock was at the top of the game and slid right out of the top 16. He's had to fight back. Keegan Brown almost lost his tour card. He's back and back in the majors and could be in his first European Tour final. Jamie Hughes was playing on the Challenge Tour last year.
Yeah, and yet the Euro Tour, the finest tour in professional sport, offers a chance of redemption. Keegan needed to fill that up.
But it has been showing signs, particularly on the floor. He did reach the final last month, right at the start of it, lost out to Jeffrey Desvan.
Yeah, it was his semi-final display in that particular tournament was the most noteworthy thing, wasn't it? Where he was.
I don't think he'd be complaining about air conditioning here, Dan.
Yeah, walked off saying that he wasn't happy with the conditions. Playing Darius Labanauskas, he was getting a hammering at the time, and then came back and won the next 5 legs and nicked it.
Was then blown away, to be fair, by JDZ in that final. They'd also reached one at the back end of 2017, losing to Mensa Suljovic in Dublin, but nothing in between. So this would be a very kind of welcome quick-fire run to finals for the Bullets. Brown looking to break straight back. Another. Oh. Well, he found a way over it, but not the right side of the wire. Bunting can put him to the sword a little bit here. Tricky finish.
It's an absolute mile away from his intended target, treble 18. And that one in the corner gets Keegan back on level terms. Remember, it is first to 7 in the semi-finals. You need an extra leg.
Keegan Brown has been making a habit of reaching semi-finals, hasn't he? We mentioned the one on the Euro Tour very, very recently. That was a back-to-back semi-final paired with the floor event that was before it.
Yeah, the German Darts Championship, of course, the one won by Dowell Gurney. Keegan Brown was beaten by Bunting's mate, Rapid Ricky Evans, in that one. But you are right, the weekend before was in Wigan when he made the semi-finals, and there he was beaten by Raymond van Barneveld, another man with close associations with Stephen Bunting.
98.
Well, there was a time when Barney was on the stage declaring that Bunting should be given a wild card for the World Series and Premier League and all that kind of thing.
Best of the best.
125.
And I do think you made a valid point this weekend, Dan, when you said that, you know, had Barney qualified or attempted to qualify for this tournament, who knows where it could have led, the way it's opened up.
59.
Well, exactly. It's a huge opportunity for all of the guys in the semi-finals here. Yes, they've had to play some great darts to get here, but that day when Barney beat Keegan, he was playing some good stuff at times. Huge opportunity. Huge opportunity for Jamie Hughes to make the world match play.
Huge check out in front of Stephen Bunting for another break. Just above the wire, the second dart. Now Brown can try and produce a champagne shot here.
Treble 17. No, he stayed there to try and find the ball. Champagne shots. Pop the cork on that, Bunting! Keegan Brown pins 1-2-5 to go into the lead.
Well, that was very, very mature as well from Keegan Brown. The showmanship of that kind of shot, but the technique and the nous that Brown had to stop and move across. Often when you've got darts that are going to be tightly grouped in the same section, you can just stay where you are and hope that they go in, but Brown found a way.
Well, it's an example of how these guys know how their darts behaved. Other players would have moved away from the bullseye after that first dart, but Keegan I mean, it was nothing but nets, that one at the bullseye. Didn't even glance off anything, did it?
Wonderful moment. We've seen many brilliant checkouts over the course of this weekend. It started with a 170 in the very first match on Friday.
Started with a fish. Whoever knew it would come to this.
45. Stephen to require 122.
Well, the 1-2-2 does not require the bull at the end of it. We won't be getting to the end of it in this visit.
46. Stephen requires 76.
Double 8 then. Good leg of darts from Stephen Bunting. 14 darter levels things up once more. It is now effectively, rather than first to 7, a best of 7.
40.
Off again.
Brown has won the last couple of meetings between the pair, although they were 3.5 years apart.
Yeah, only one recent meeting, wasn't it, in a qualifier for the World Series finals?
Yeah, 6-3 in favour of the Needle.
39.
Yeah, kind of weird. They've been on the tour all that time and they just keep avoiding each other.
Yeah, there's only been actually two ranking meetings, and
85.
they were back in 2014 and 2015 in first rounds.
Yeah, exactly, first round. This is by far the biggest game these two have ever had against each other.
It will be interesting to see if it is Brown that goes through to the final, where he ranks it in terms of the biggest games he's ever played, because he has played in the major tournaments. He played his World Youth final at the O2.
Yeah.
90.
But this could, a final here could end up really being the most significant, couldn't it?
Well, you felt as Bunting needs to keep this well away from those first two darts, and he does. You felt that first senior title for him could have been massively significant, but it just didn't seem to build for him after that, did it?
Require 40.
To break. Double 10.
30. Keegan, you require 78.
Keegan would have preferred to have put a bigger dent in that 136, but that's a wonderful dart. Double 6. Okay.
He thought it was in, having dodged a bullet.
66.
A wobble from Brown.
Require 10.
Two decent darts, but the wrong side of the wires. As is that. Meaning Bunting needs this, and he doesn't get it.
Keegan, you require 12.
Another reprieve.
Are we set for another silly leg?
Could be. Down for double
Game
3.
shot on the 7th leg.
Brown takes it. Now Keegan Brown is the man, Dan, who has started to get the hang of this European Tour lark, but in the early days he didn't like flying and actually pulled out of several European Tour events, having qualified for them, because he was anxious about flying over to them. Had a word with him about this. He said that he went on holiday on the advice of his manager. He went on holiday with his wife Roz, so he didn't have the extra pressure of having to go fly to a country and then play an important darts tournament. And ever since that holiday, he's been fine.
Well, he never shuts up about his various flights all over the place.
And he does have to travel more than most, based on the fact that he lives on the Isle of Wight.
Yes. You can live on a tiny island and be scared of getting on planes. It's going to limit your opportunities, isn't it?
Yes, the big dog on the small island. But Keegan Brown might be making a big name for himself here this weekend.
91.
He's left the big fish.
$57. Keegan, you require 170.
No need to take this out in this visit, which is a good job for Keegan because he's not going to do it.
58.
Not seen a two-leg gap open up in this match as yet. But Keegan Brown has got a chance. Stephen Bunting knows that this next couple of visits are vital, and he keeps firing them low with that treble 20. That's a great adjustment in the end.
100.
Well, I think that could be enough.
Require 112.
You had to halve that at least. Won't be enough if Brown cleans this up.
92. Stephen, you require 100.
Huge shot. He's taken out one of these in the last couple of games. A 120 and a 100. And he's gone tops.
60.
And he cannot pull it off.
Keegan, you require 20.
Chance then to open up the first gap. Once again, a bit of a wobble.
No score.
Keegan Brown. I
Stephen,
can't
you
imagine he thought that was
require
it.
40.
Stephen Bunting given another chance.
Game showing you there. Stephen Bunting.
And he takes this one,
Right there.
and you
Keegan
cannot
at
get
front
a fact
first.
paper
Game
between
on.
these two. There have been loads of missed doubles. The averages have tumbled from where they were to the low 80s, but it's 4 all, and the only stat that matters is the number of legs next to your name.
127.
Well, there you see. I mean, Keegan Brown's first 9 average of 85 is absolutely nowhere near. Keegan Brown's first 9 average in this game is almost 10 points lower than his lowest average in any of the other matches. But is that because of the enormity of the situation? Is it also because that Keegan might be thinking, I'm the favourite for this game,
42.
for a change? He wouldn't have been the favourite against Mensah or Michael van Gerwen. Might not have been against Danny Noppert.
136.
He's played with a freedom this weekend, Keegan Brown, after putting himself in the match play spots after his opening win.
Yeah, he has, and Paul Nicholson did
96.
question which
Keegan,
way
you
he would
require
go in that, whether he kind of think
170.
job done, or whether he would carry on producing the goods that got him into that
57.
spot.
Well, and he certainly did carry on against Mensah, but here, when it's suddenly become very, very real that he might go on and win the thing, does it get nervy as Bunting asks a question of Keegan Brown?
113.
Well, Bunting himself had a key 1-1-3 checkout in the third leg. Brown
93.
can't repeat the trick.
Stephen, you require 56. Game shot on the ninth bag. Stephen.
Could be
Tenth leg, Stephen at front
a key
first.
moment,
Game on.
if not the key moment in this match, as now Bunting has turned the tables and throws to not only open up a 2-leg lead, but to move within 1
100.
of the final. And it's first on the European Tour.
It would be a first Euro Tour title, of course. It would be a first big stage title in
58.
PDC darts, but you cannot discount the experience that Stephen Bunting has for all of those big events he won in the BDO. He knows how to get over the line. It's fair to say he's played nowhere near as well as he was when he won the Lakeside or his 2 World Masters, as Ricky Evans looks on. So hot. The weather, that is, not Ricky.
We never really mentioned, but it could be one of the conditions that doesn't really work well for Ricky Evans. If you're running up and down the hockey as well as throwing the darts really fast, then you might run out of steam rather quickly.
98.
Has Keegan just run out of steam? Is that what's happened here? Because he has looked so free,
60.
so easy, so he's enjoying every single moment of this tournament, and then it's got to the semi-finals, matching his best run on the European Tour, and it's just not been there, not enough.
60.
Yeah, well, his average has creeped up round on round for the first 3 matches, and it soared to 104 almost against Mensah Suljovic.
60.
But he is playing
Stephen, you require
somewhere below the standard he's
150.
produced in any of the matches this weekend.
It's become a battle. And it's a battle that the Bullet is winning right now, although that's a great response in the end.
Needs a treble.
60.
Just to have left
Stephen,
the big
requires 70.
three-figure checkout, and Stephen Bunting knows he's got 6 to check this out. But takes it out in 2. And he does open up that bit of daylight, but knows that he just needs to win one more leg to book his place in the decider.
Well, we have seen Keegan Brown. We've seen him do it on the European Tour, rattle off 3 legs to win in the last leg decider, and do so in 36 darts. 3 12-darters we've seen him do before. Now, he is nowhere near that standard right now, but 3 15-darters might be enough.
59.
He did put in a couple of huge legs against MVG yesterday.
137.
And it's not as difficult as it might seem to have to win the last 3 legs. It's always much easier when you've got to throw in 2 of them.
46.
All of a sudden, he's finding the trebles.
96.
Leaves himself a finish after 9, which is something that has not been happening from either man in this match very often.
Bunting breathing down his neck.
Keegan require 170.
Keegan needs to at least take a chunk out of this.
81.
Because all of a sudden Bunting is in. Could be back-to-back maximums to leave himself on a double for the win.
Keegan require 89.
The Bullet is making a dash for the line. Can Keegan Brown stop him with the ball?
64.
No, he can't.
Stephen, you require 36.
And Stephen Bunting to make a Euro Tour final for the first time in his career.
Good
He's there.
shot.
The Bullet has done it. It was a battle. It was a scrap. But back-to-back 180s, and that finish there ends Keegan Brown's campaign. And Stephen Bunting, tonight could be the night that he finally wins a stage title in PDC darts. The former world champ will take on either Jamie Hughes or Simon Whitlock for the inaugural Czech Darts Open title.
What about that? We know our first finalist, ladies and gentlemen, but I think you would like to join us all in commiserations to a very great player indeed with a brilliant future. Keegan Brown, ladies and gentlemen. But the moment belongs to our first player through to the final. The winner of 2 PDC ranking events, and of course that World Championship, the extremely experienced Stephen Bunting, who I'm glad to say joins us now in incredible form.
It's going to be my first final. I'm a bit lost for words. Got to recompose now. I've got a bit of time, and I'm looking forward to get back. Like I said before, these fans are fantastic, and they deserve a good final. So I'm going to get back, have a little bit of a rest, and I'll be ready for the final.
We're going to let him get away, ladies and gentlemen. He is in our final. Stephen Bunting. Coming up next, it's semi-final number 2, where Jamie Hughes takes on Simon Whitlock for the right.